Welcome back to the Everygirl podcast, where we talk about what it really takes to create a life that feels as good as it looks. For our latest installment of the Winter Arc series, I thought I would share a little insight that I have found to the question a lot of us ask, which is, am I really going to make it? Am I really going to lose weight or completely heal my symptoms? Am I going to hit my career goals or make that much money? Am I really going to find fulfilling friendships or a really happy relationship? Whether you're building a business, improving your health, or just trying to become the version of you that you know you are meant to be, we all have had those moments where we look around and we think, what if this never works? What if I'm not one of the ones who are successful? I wanted the answer to this question too, and I found that there is one sign, one determining factor that psychologists, neuroscientists, and even the most successful people in the world agree is the biggest predictor of success in whatever goal you may have. It's not luck, even though I love lucky girl syndrome. It's not talent. It's not even discipline or willpower. If you listen to the podcast regularly, you know how I hate the word and the concept of discipline or willpower. It's actually something much deeper. And according to research, it is the greatest predictor of whether or not you will be successful in your life or at any goal that you want to accomplish. And in this episode, we are going to break it down, what the research says, how to know if you already have it, and how to strengthen it so success becomes inevitable for you. So, what is the number one sign that you're going to be successful? It's not confidence or the amount of networking connections you have or being the smartest person in the room, and it's not your education or your experience. It's not even your history or where you come from. It's something that psychologists call self-efficacy, which is a fancy word for believing in your own ability to succeed. It's that quiet, grounded belief that says, okay, I can figure this out. Self-efficacy is not the same thing as self-esteem, although I think that self-efficacy is a cornerstone of like real self-esteem. But self-esteem reflects your self-worth, and self-efficacy is the perception of your own ability to achieve a goal. So, for example, confidence or self-esteem is more like, I know I'm good at this. It comes from experience, from having done something enough times to trust yourself at it. Whereas self-efficacy is like, I believe I can figure this out even if I've never done it before, or I believe that I can do this even without evidence to suggest I for sure can. It's about trusting your ability to learn. So, like, you might not be confident painting a picture because you've never painted before, but if you have self-efficacy, you still believe you could learn. You'd think, okay, I'll probably be really bad at first, but give me a few lessons and I'll get the hang of it. Maybe I could even practice so much and learn everything I can about painting and seek out mentors that I could actually become an amazing painter. On the flip side, you could also, like some successful people have high self-efficacy but low self-esteem. You believe that you could figure things out, that you have the ability to figure things out, but deep down, you don't always feel worthy of good things or confident in who you are without the success or knowledge or whatever it is. So you might still take the lessons, you master the skill, you become successful, you hit your goals, but it does not make you feel more worthy. So you see the difference between confidence and self-efficacy. The sweet spot, of course, would be both. It's believing you can handle what comes and knowing that you are worthy whether or not you accomplish it. But when it comes to actual success, what you need to achieve your goals, research shows it's the self-efficacy part, that belief in your capacity to figure things out. That's the strongest predictor of whether you will keep going long enough to actually get there. And that's because self-efficacy, this trust in yourself to figure it out, is what makes you take one more shot after a rejection. It's what pushes you to send the email, pitch the idea, show up at the gym, post the reel, even though you're scared to, because you believe that you are able to succeed. So, for example, to really demonstrate how important this is, imagine two women. They both decide they want to enter a winter arc and they want to feel stronger and more confident in their bodies, prioritize their well being. One of them has tried every workout of the past and she knows how to exercise. She knows a lot about nutrition. She knows what she needs to eat to be healthy, but she doesn't really believe that she can stick with it. She tells herself she's just not one of those consistent people, or she doesn't have enough willpower. So she keeps putting it off. She's waiting for the motivation to hit, or she's waiting for the timing to be right. The other woman, on the other hand, has never had a solid fitness routine before. She doesn't have the perfect form during strength training, or she has no idea what macros are, but she believes that she can figure it out. So she signs up for a workout class, she watches videos, she gives herself permission to be a beginner. And you can guess who is more successful. The first woman with a lot of experience but no self efficacy is stuck in the same loop. She's waiting until she feels ready, while the woman with no experience but high self efficacy is already stronger, more confident, and has made actual change in her life. The difference isn't ability or knowledge, it's belief. And research shows that this predicts success more accurately than IQ, than talent, or personality type. Because when you believe your effort works, you will keep going. You will adapt and learn and find another way if the way that you're going for isn't working. Psychologist Albert Bandura was a researcher at Stanford. He was the first to coin the term self-efficacy in the 1960s. And his research was really revolutionary because up until this point, it was really believed that people's skill or background or education is what predicted their success. But his research found that people who believed they could influence their results, even if it was just a little bit, would perform better, learn faster, and recovered from setbacks more easily than people who didn't believe, regardless of their actual ability level or education or background. So basically, it's not just your skill that predicts success, it's whether you think your skill can grow. One of my favorite studies that I like to talk about as well was actually a study on the importance of like mentorship and other people's belief in us, but I actually think it's a great example of self efficacy. And it basically was a study of teachers in a classroom. And they basically were able to measure the group of students who didn't get good grades, but the teachers would tell them, "You're so smart. You're so capable to get good grades. I believe in you. You're so smart," like gave them that encouragement versus students who were not told that encouragement but got, pretty good grades. The group that started the year with bad grades but got encouragement from the teachers ended up getting better grades than the students who didn't get as much encouragement but had a good enough grade to start with. So it just goes to show what your belief in your ability will do for you. That is more important than anything else, is what you believe you are capable of. And neuroscience research backs this up. When you believe your actions matter, when you believe that what you do can impact your outcome, your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part that's responsible for focus and decision making and problem solving, lights up. It literally helps you think more clearly and creatively about solutions. But when you don't believe you can accomplish something, your amygdala, which is the fear and threat center, lights up. That kind of takes over. So that's when self-doubt, procrastination, and avoidance kick in. What's actually happening in the brain and how self-efficacy can help you turn on parts of the brain that will help you be more successful, whereas not having self-efficacy, not thinking that you're capable of accomplishing something or learning something or growing in a certain way, the parts of the brain responsible for procrastination, avoidance, fear, that's when that part of the brain lights up. So if you feel stuck right now, it is not because you are lazy or unmotivated or don't have goddamn willpower, but because your brain is in protection mode. It's taught to say, do not waste energy because this probably won't work. It goes back to our survival mechanisms. If the brain has any reason to think, oh, this won't work, you will feel all of the procrastination and avoidance and fear to get you to not do that thing. But if your brain thinks, I can do this, this will work, the brain wants you to do it. It's how we would survive in the caveman days. So it's all coming back to the way that our brains have evolved. This is why visualization is really powerful, because your brain cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So when you visualize yourself succeeding at your goal, not just the outcome, but the process of, showing up, learning, improving, which I will talk about a little bit later, you are strengthening those same neural pathways that will actually help you to do it. For me, self-efficacy is something I am always actively working on building, but I do think that I have always had at least a little bit there, even when I didn't have the confidence. I think I still had self-efficacy looking back. Like when we first started the Everygirl podcast, I had no idea what I was doing. I obviously didn't go to school for audio production, or I had no background in media training or hosting. I had absolutely zero experience or knowledge in interviewing people or writing scripts. And when you go back to older episodes, you can tell that. And I definitely have lacked confidence. Still to this day, I still think all the time, this episode wasn't that great, or who will care about me sharing this part of my life? But I did believe with my whole heart that I was meant to do this. And I believed that I would figure it out and I would get better. I positively cringe thinking about most of the episodes in our first couple of years. I'm sure in a few years from now, I will absolutely cringe at this episode. But I also have been learning. I've been studying every episode to see what could be better. I've been hearing and applying your guys' feedback. And little by little, more guests started to say yes. Our community is growing. I feel like I'm finally finding my rhythm. And, I've seen so many incredible women with brilliant ideas hold themselves back because they don't feel ready. They think they need more experience, more followers, more confidence before they start. That is low self-efficacy. But it's doing the thing that creates the confidence. That is self-efficacy in action. It's not waiting until you believe you're ready. It's believing that you can become ready by starting, by showing up. I also, this shows up in my health. I wasn't always healthy. I actually really resisted becoming this the health obsessed girl, and I prided myself on loving junk food. And, my awful symptoms were part of my identity. Growing up as a dancer, I was the lazier one. I was not the girl going above and beyond or working the hardest. And in college, when I really started becoming interested in understanding health as, I guess, a currency, I obviously at the time didn't have the language for this, but what really appealed to me at first was learning that health could be a tool to live our best lives. And then I really wanted to heal my symptoms in order to experience life differently, in order to have a better life. I may have lacked a lot of self-worth with my health, but I had every ounce of self-efficacy that I could change my body and I could change my routines and therefore change my life. I saw so vividly the person I wanted to become, and I believed I could become her. So just to give you some real life examples, because I've heard so many times, I don't feel ready for this, or I need more experience to do this, or I can't achieve this. And our belief alone is what is holding us back from being our highest selves and living our best lives. And I want you to break out of it. I want you to improve your self-efficacy so drastically that nothing will hold you back from taking the action toward the life that you want. So let's talk about how to actually strengthen this muscle, because that's what self-efficacy is, a muscle. You build it through repetition, proof, and self-trust. So number one, stack small wins. Every time you follow through on something, you finish a workout, you send a pitch, you check an item off your to-do list, your brain releases dopamine, which reinforces motivation and focus. So basically, you're teaching yourself, see, when I put in some effort, it works. This is about celebrating the little wins, okay? So don't wait for massive milestones to celebrate. Track every little daily win that you have. I love what Andrea Leigh Rogers said in episode 230, to have multiple girls every day. I started doing this. I think this is so fun. So for example, when I finish an interview and I feel like it went really well, I just silently say to myself, girl. Or when I clean out the drawer that I've been meaning to get to, I say, girl. And when I finish a workout, girl. It seems so cheesy, but it really does build up so quickly. So you start feeling like you are building all of these wins, because you are. It's just about noticing that they are wins. Number two is to keep promises to yourself. I really like to think of self efficacy as self trust. When you say you're going to do something, you believe you're going to do it. You know those people where you don't really trust them? Maybe they say they're going to call, but you just know that they won't call. It's like the toxic ex who keeps coming back in your life and you just know they're not going to do anything they say that they will. A lot of us, surprisingly, feel that way with ourselves. Like if you say, okay, I'm not going to scroll through my phone at all tomorrow, or I'm going to go to the gym this afternoon, think about it. Do you really believe you're going to do it? Or is it kind of like a hope and a plan, but deep down you're like, yeah, I know that's not going to happen? That's an example of low self efficacy. You have to build self trust, and you do that by keeping promises to yourself. So, next time you say, I'm going to walk 10,000 steps tomorrow, keep that promise to yourself. Know that it matters so much more than actually walking the steps, because every time you follow through on something you said you would do, no matter how small it is, you are rebuilding trust with yourself. You're showing your brain, see, when I say I'm going to do something, I mean it. I will do it. Just like a relationship, the more times you keep your word, the safer that you will feel with yourself. It's not about never missing a day or always being perfect. It's about becoming the kind of person that you can rely on. When you believe yourself, you don't need to hype yourself up to take action. You just know that you will do it. Number three, reframe failure as feedback. Albert Bandura, that original psychologist who coined the phrase self-efficacy, called this resilient efficacy. So when something doesn't work, look at it like it's not proof that you can't do something, it's data showing you how you can. It's kind of the classic, rejection is redirection thing. And in my life, in every case, every situation of rejection, no matter what it is always redirection. But it is actually important to believe that, to really look at an instance of rejection and in the moment be able to see it as the redirection. So, next time you experience any type of failure, whether it is you didn't follow through on a fitness goal that you set for the week, or whether it was getting let go from a job, or whether it was a breakup, ask yourself, what did this teach me about what to try next? This is my favorite thing to do with clients, actually, because I always say, we set these homework assignments, and then if they don't complete the homework assignment, I always say that is just as much of a win as if you did complete it, because it's giving us more data on what actually works for you. Everything that doesn't work out, if you are wanting to build habits and eat a certain way, move a certain way, adapt different health routines, whatever it is, if it doesn't work out, you can learn about what to try next that would work better. So ask yourself, what did this failure, rejection, whatever it is, teach me about what to try next to get to where I want to be? Rather than thinking, well, this goal isn't for me, or I don't deserve to get there. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep adjusting without making it mean anything about their worth. This segment is brought to you by Chase. If your holiday shopping list lives in your notes app and you're doing 90% of it in bed with a face mask on and holiday movie in the background, me too. But with all the too good to be true deals and the random checkout pages that we are trusting with our credit cards, this season has also become prime time for scammers to slide into our wallets. So let's talk about how to help stay safe and shop smarter this holiday season with some expert-backed tips and a little help from Chase. Holiday shopping is my love language. I really get into it. I have spreadsheets, notes app tabs, and shipping notifications turned on. You would think it was my full-time job. But last year, while trying to track down a sold out skincare set for my sister, I clicked on what I thought was a totally legit ad, and spoiler alert, it wasn't. Thankfully, I caught it in time, but it was a big wake up call. Scams have gotten really sneaky. It's not just fake links from random DMs anymore. Scammers are impersonating legit brands, your bank, even people you know. It's called impersonation fraud. and it's behind some of the scams you see today, from fake holiday deals to customer service DMs. So when I say the Chase mobile app and Chase credit journey is a lifesaver, I mean it. They help make it easier to spot unusual activity because nothing ruins a holiday season like some scammers or fraud. Here's what's actually changed for me since I started using the tools Chase offers. Two-factor authentication is now a non-negotiable in my life, basically like my self-care. I've got it set up on both my phone and laptop, and it's already saved me more than one sketchy login attempt. Then there are the account alerts. I customized mine to get notified for anything even remotely weird. Big purchases, new device login. I know quickly. It's like having a digital bodyguard for your bank account while you're busy wrapping gifts and sipping peppermint lattes. And my personal favorite is Chase Credit Journey. It's totally free, even if you're not a Chase customer, and it gives you credit and identity monitoring. If your info pops up on the dark web or in a data breach, you will get an alert, which, yes, is as dramatic and necessary as it sounds. And of course, the Chase mobile app makes it super easy to check in on your money anytime, anywhere. You can track payments, spot anything unusual, or just confirm you did, in fact, make that 1 a.m. impulse buy. No judgment, just making sure it was you. Together, these tools make it easier to enjoy the holidays stress-free. So as you dive into your holiday shopping, whether it's for your sister or your 1 a.m. coping purchases, just remember, scammers are getting smarter, but so are we. Stick to retailers you trust, don't fall for the "this deal ends in 30 seconds" panic links, and lean on Chase's security tools to help keep your money and identity protected. If you want to learn more about setting up alerts, monitoring your credit, or using Chase Credit Journey, head to chase.com/holiday scams. Huge thank you to Chase Bank for supporting this episode and for helping us all shop smarter and stress a little less this season. Number 3, visualize the process, not just the outcome. It is so powerful to imagine your dream life, but it is even more powerful to picture yourself doing the work that leads there. Showing up to the gym, outlining the book proposal, building the business plan, going to the grocery store. All of that mental rehearsal strengthens the same neural pathways as physical practice. So don't just, again, visualize running the marathon or feeling totally healed of your symptoms. Picture yourself tomorrow doing the training, prepping your meals. I like to spend a few minutes before getting out of bed in the morning visualizing what my day looks like, what the actual process working toward my goals will look like that day. Or I love this ChatGPT hack where you can create a whole project for your goals. Maybe it's like your winter arc or whatever it is. It can be specific goals. And then you share all of your goals and your timeline so that ChatGPT remembers exactly what you're working toward. And then another tip, you can also connect ChatGPT with your calendar so that ChatGPT knows what you have that day. And then every day you can ask it, how would I show up to this day as my highest self getting closer to my goals? And ChatGPT will give you the exact blueprint, how you need to think and show up and act to be closer to your goals. It's about visualizing, even in your day-to-day, what the process looks like of getting to the outcome that you want. The more that you know what it looks like, the stronger your belief will be that you will actually follow through with it. Number 4, borrow belief. If your self-belief feels shaky, if we're really starting from the beginning with very little self-efficacy, look for what Jessica Gill from How to Be Magnetic calls expanders, which is basically people whose lives remind you what's possible. Seeing someone else accomplish what you want to accomplish will tell your brain, if she can, maybe I can too. Maybe, you've wanted to start a business, but it feels impossible because no one around you has ever started a business. But then you meet a friend of a friend who left her 9 to 5 and then started freelancing. And now she travels while running her own company. And suddenly, it doesn't feel so far-fetched anymore for you to start your own business. Or maybe you've always been told, you're not a runner, but then you see someone that is your age, your body type, maybe even your similar lifestyle, post on Instagram that they just ran their first 5K. And instantly, your brain goes from, that's not me, to maybe that could be me. Expanders don't have to just be celebrities or influencers that we see online. They can be your coworker who negotiated a better raise, your sister who started therapy and worked to heal a lot of things that you both experienced, your friend who healed her hormones that had similar symptoms and a similar diet to you. But looking to people online that have very similar circumstances to you, that are from where you're from, that are also female, that are, whatever it is, that have similar circumstances and accomplish what you can accomplish, I think is one of the most powerful ways that we are able to use social media. The point isn't to compare. It's not about, oh, she's done so much more than me or she's way ahead of me. The point is to collect proof, to show your brain evidence that the life that you want already exists for someone else, which means that it's available for you too. Because once your subconscious sees that it's possible, it will stop resisting it. It really shifts from that's unrealistic to, oh, look, it's possible. And from there, your self-efficacy, that belief in your own ability to make it happen, will start to grow naturally. And then 5, keep an affirmations folder or an evidence journal. Every day, seriously, every single day, write down proof that your effort mattered, even the tiniest things. A compliment from a coworker, a new idea that came just because you were showing up at the gym, the fact that you meal prepped even when you didn't feel like it. It doesn't have to be big. What matters is that it's proof that your actions lead to something. And why this is so important is that on the days where you doubt yourself, where your self-efficacy is feeling pretty low, you can go back and read those entries or review those outcomes. It's like your personal highlight reel, all the receipts that you can do hard things and it will pay off. And here's why this works, and it's more than just a fluffy self-love practice. Your brain is always gathering evidence. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, what your brain is trained to do is constantly be gathering evidence. So if you're telling yourself, I never finish anything, or I can't accomplish anything, or I can't be successful at that, your brain will keep looking for proof that that's true, which then reinforces that action in your life. But when you start showing your brain evidence of your effort and how it actually pays off, your brain starts reprogramming. You're literally teaching your brain, see, brain, when I try, when I put in effort, things happen. I can make things happen for myself. I do have control in my life. And then over time, your focus will literally shift. Instead of scanning for all the reasons why you can't, which is likely what your brain is doing now, it's looking for the obstacles, the what ifs, the fears. Instead, your brain will start scanning for opportunities, solutions, next steps. And that is how success happens. So if right now you're wondering whether you're going to be successful, whether it's in your winter arc or in your life in general, the question isn't if, it's how much you're willing to believe that you can. Success doesn't happen because the timing is perfect or when you've finally figured it all out. It happens when you start trusting that every tiny step that you're taking, the emails that you send, the workouts that you show up for, the things that you do when no one's watching, are all deposits that are getting you closer to your future. Self-efficacy is just another way of saying self-trust. It's believing that no matter what happens, no matter what challenges come up, you will figure it out. You will be successful. The number one sign that you are going to be successful isn't luck or timing or talent. It's that you keep showing up with the belief that what you do today will matter tomorrow, that you will always find a way no matter what. And I have to say this too, even you listening to this podcast right now, reflecting, learning, doing the inner work, that's proof that you are already working toward the goal. You're already on your way. You showed up for yourself today. You pressed play on this episode because you want and are working for more in your life. Honestly, add that to your affirmations folder or your evidence journal. Let even this act of putting on this episode improve your self-efficacy. I hope this episode reminded you how powerful you are and how much your effort matters. If the episode did resonate with you, please let me know in the Apple reviews or Spotify comments. Again, I base all episodes off of the response I hear from you. So If I hear that you liked an episode, I will bring more like episodes to you. If I don't hear from you, I assume you don't like it, to be honest, because I don't want to give you what you don't like. I only want to keep giving you stuff that you want and that really resonates and helps you. So please leave me a comment on Spotify or YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, or leave it in the Apple reviews. Share this episode to Instagram so your community can improve their self-efficacy too. And as always, thank you for tuning in. I will see you on Tuesday for another episode of the Everygirl podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I sure did. Please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really makes a huge difference for our show so we can keep growing and bringing the content that you love. If you want more info, you can find us at the Everygirl Podcast on Instagram or theeverygirlpodcast.com. Talk to you next week.